Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. As promised in my previous video, I am going to do a playthrough of part of a mission from Space Hulk Death Angel. So just to give you a strategic overview, brothers, welcome to the Sanctum. We are currently experiencing no Auspex difficulties and we are following the progress of the squad which I have dispatched into the Space Hulk. Now, the mission of this squad is to end a Tyranid threat which has been gestating perhaps for millennia in the bowels of this ancient ship. So just to give you a general overview of what is going on, that is the present location card. I will be zooming in on these cards in the course of play just so that you have a clear idea of what's going on, but for the purposes of overview we'll just back out for the moment. Those are the blip piles of potential Tyranids. I have my 6 Space Marines here, color-coded as mentioned before. So each subsection of the Space Marine squad has its own order and command cards, and each turn I'll be selecting one of these for their actions to give them orders. Terrain has been deployed. So next to Callistratus over there we have the door. Brother Claudio has a dark corner to contend with. Brother Goriel has to watch the ventilation duct. And Sergeant Lorenzo down here is keeping an eye on the corridor. So turn begins. The first thing that happens every turn is the Marines choose their actions. Now I'm going to start by issuing orders for the top 2 over there. So just to bring us in close, in the lead we have the Librarian and the Space Marine accompanying him. The cards which they are able to employ are either move and activate, support, or attack. Now the 2 most appealing choices for these 2 are either attack or move and activate. Attacking will allow them to shoot down some of the Tyranids inside that swarm that's building up near the door. Alternately, if they begin fiddling with the door, they can begin the process of prepping it to seal behind them when they escape the compartment. So it's a tricky one. I'm not quite sure what to go for with those 2. My instinct is to attack, but at the same time, I might hold off. The reason I'm thinking I will hold off is because their move and activate card carries a stealth tactics bonus. After resolving this card's action, you may discard 1 card from either blip pile, one of these 2. And if they have a support token, they can discard it to get rid of another card. Now that is quite crucial because getting rid of those cards in either that section or that section is what allows the Marines to progress beyond the next level. As I've said before, it's far more important to progress and carry on with your mission than trying to kill every single xenomorph that gets in your way. So on the strength of that, I am going to commit the first part of the squad to a move and activate order. Now moving down, in the center we have Brother Claudio and Brother Goriel. They are close combat specialists, which is just as well because they have a Tyranid lictor over there behind Brother Goriel and a Ravener on the other side of him. Unlucky fellow, so he is hemmed in. I am tempted to issue an attack order to them, particularly in light of what Brother Claudio is able to do as his special attack move. He may slay up to 3 Genestealers, or in this case Tyranids, within one range of him, ignoring facing. There is that little caveat at the end, but it's only a 1 in 6 chance that Brother Claudio will lose his life, so I'm going to go with it. All in the Emperor's name, methinks. And finally, we have Sergeant Lorenzo and Brother Dano bringing up the rear. Now, I am tempted just to spread things out and give them attack opportunities later in the game, or in the turn, I should say, that they are going to support. So that's quite a passive thing. There's no aliens in their immediate vicinity, so Sergeant Lorenzo's special ability will probably be a bit wasted here. But it allows them to play a support token. So I've decided upon my orders. And looking at the cards which have been selected, that one will be executed first because it's got the lowest number. Then that one, then that one. These are always performed in ascending order. So, for the support order, what to do? I will give the support token to the librarian. So each time a Space Marine carries out a support order, he may give a token to any other Space Marine. It does not have to be the one in his squad. Next comes the move and activate. Brother Librarian, I think, will activate the door for his movement and activation. He won't actually physically move. And then, rather cleverly, for his move and activate move, Brother Scipio is going to swap places with him and also place a token on the door. Now, the reason I've moved them around is because that swarm is probably going to attack towards the end of this turn. And with all due respect, Brother Scipio is slightly more expendable than the librarian. I mean, what am I talking about? Everyone's more expendable than librarians. But there we are. Now, remembering that their move and activate card carries a special order, or a special ability, I should say, they can discard one blip card from either blip pile and then spend a support token to discard one from the other. In a situation like this is well worth doing, so we're going to discard that token. And without looking at what they are, we're going to get rid of one blip card from each blip pile. That has thinned the ranks somewhat. Not by much, but every little helps. And finally, we get to the good stuff. The one section in the squad who have got an attack order. So, Brother Goriel is not really going to bother firing because Brother Claudio is close enough to him to attack and get rid of both of those aliens. Quite handy having extremely long, sharp metal claws. But he is going to have to roll to see whether he survives his heroic foolishness. And he does, barely. So that was excellent as a calculated risk went. Phew! So we have not totally cleared the xenomorph threat from this corridor and the void lock, but we are well on our way. Once the Marines have performed their action, it is the alien attack phase. And unfortunately, I see I should have moved that Ripper to follow the librarian. So he's not got off as scot-free as I thought. So now the aliens carry out their attacks. And in this game, you roll the attack dice. If they roll equal to or less than the number of aliens in the swarm, they successfully kill the Marine if he's not able to defend himself. Now that lone one has just failed to kill Brother Scipio. The one behind the librarian is going to have a go. And luckily for the librarian, similarly fails. So that's a relief. The xenomorphs have made their attack. Xenos filth. And luckily, we have survived. So the very last thing that happens in a turn after that is the event card. Now let's see what happens. Flanking maneuver. Move all swarms so that they are behind their engaged space marine. Oh, great. That really isn't what I wanted. That one is already behind the librarian. That one shifts position to get behind Brother Scipio. It's not looking good, brothers. These aliens display a filthy, vile, primitive intelligence, which is somewhat unsettling. The last thing that happens, as you can see on the bottom of the card, is deployment. These coloured bars match the colour bars on the locations. And the colour of the arrows corresponds to how many aliens you spawn onto the card. So in this case, it's 2 white arrows, which, as we can see if I zoom in on the void lock card, yellow means 2, white means 1. So we have company. On the red location, we get a new alien spawning from the blip pile on that side. What have we got? A Ravener. Oh, great. That's not good. It potentially gets an extra attack. Okay. Who else is coming to join the party? One in the dark corner. So we'll grab one from his blip pile. Place that there. Okay. It at least has the decency to be a normal Tyranid. Well, as normal as these things get. So, once all the actions on that card are performed, it's placed in the discard pile. And that is a single turn of Space Hulk. I'm going to play one more turn through, but viewed from a distance, so you can get a grand strategic view of what's going on. And I'll carry on telling you what's happening as we go. Better. Right, we are back to the Space Marine phase, and I cannot issue the same orders to each subsection that I issued the first time. So, looking at the predicament the librarian and his friend are in, I think with the best will in the world, I can't order an attack very effectively because they're both facing the wrong way. So instead, I'm going to order them to support their friends, because that at least allows me to use that to prevent one of the alien swarms from attacking. I did attack with the yellow squad last turn, so I think the most effective move I can perform now is a move and activate. And lastly, for the fellows down at the bottom, I can give them an attack order. They're both in range to try and get that alien, so I will give them an attack order. Plus there's a slight bonus there. If one of them does manage to kill an alien, then we will be able to generate a support token. So putting the various actions in order, we'll start off with our brave boys in grey. I am going to place a support token on their own squad. I'm quite keen to keep the librarian alive if I can, and support tokens are good for that. He is also going to choose the swarm behind him as being the one that's unable to attack this turn. Moving to the yellow squad, yellow subsection I should say, move and activate. Now they can move to any position, so one's almost tempted to send them up there to play with the door a bit more. But it does take a powerful soldier out of the mid position. It's definitely one to think about. Do you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to send Brother Goriel up there, which nudges everybody down a space, probably causing massive amounts of confusion. But Brother Goriel is now up there, and he has placed another token on the door. He may lose his life for that foolhardiness, but it's all for the greater good. And lastly, our two friends down here can carry out their attack. I'm going to start with Brother Dino because he's got a longer way to shoot. His range, as you can see from his card, is 2. So he can reach that Tyranid over there. He's going to roll for it. When the Marines attack, if they roll a skull result, that is a hit and a single alien is killed. So I think much to Brother Claudio's relief, the Tyranid that was creeping up behind him has just gone splat. Unfortunately, Sergeant Lorenzo now has no targets because there's nothing within his range. That one sneaking up on Brother Scipio's tantalizingly out of reach. Now, they did kill an alien, this squad, so they generate a support token, which is going to be placed on... difficult to say, really. I might pile the tokens onto the librarian for now. I have a long-term plan, but whether it's actually going to work out is another matter. So that was the Marines. We now move into the Tyranid alien attack phase. One behind Brother Goriel has rolled a 3. That's ineffective. This one was stopped by the librarian, so cannot attack this turn. The one actually facing the librarian is going to have a go. A 5, which thankfully is a miss. So far, so good. So that was a rather wimpy attack phase for them. Not that I'm complaining. And very fortunately for me, I draw Secret Route. I'll just give the camera a chance to focus on this. No, you're not going to do it, are you? What it says is, if there is a door terrain card in the formation, place 2 support tokens on it. That means that we're going to slam this door in the faces of an awful lot of aliens when we finally escape from this level. And of course, the very last thing, 2 cards spawn in the dark corner. That's not good. These swarms are beginning to grow. So we get 1 regular Tyranid, which joins the swarm. We also get a Lictor, which has a special ability. After spawning in front of a Space Marine, which he has done, the Lictor immediately leaves its swarm and flanks the engaged Space Marine. So what that means in game terms is he leaves his swarm facing the librarian while he scuttles around behind him. This is not good. Also, we have emptied that blip pile, which means at the end of this phase, the Marines will automatically move to the next section in the Hulk. But before they do that, we'll just end the phase by drawing, funnily enough, the last 2 cards for that location, the ventilation duct. Oh dear, we have a normal one. We also have a Hormagaunt, which looks like a nasty piece of work. So after spawning, an engaged Space Marine must spend one support token or roll a die. On a skull result, place one Tyranid from the Tyranid deck on this swarm. Oh no, that is not what we want. We do not want them to have reinforcements. And I have not rolled a skull. Thank the Emperor. So the very last thing, once we have the spawns done, is movement. Any cards with a claw symbol move following the little arrows on the Space Marine card. So that group has a claw symbol, which means they abandon their pursuit of the librarian and rather foolishly come after Brother Claudio instead. Well, foolishly or sensibly, who can know the mind of the alien? But now, of course, that's the end of that particular turn and phase, and it means that the Marines have cleared the void lock. They now move into the next location, the Black Holds, which will carry its own perils, its own objectives, and its own little bits of adventure. But we're a quarter of the way through the mission and nobody's died yet, which is faintly miraculous. So what'll happen as we enter the new areas, new blip piles will be created, new terrain will be laid out according to the directions given here on the card. Some of these will be removed as I cash in those door tokens that we built up, and the mission will continue. To what result, I do not yet know, but I look forward to playing this to a conclusion. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope those two brief turns have given you an idea of how this game plays. Once you get used to the system, it is actually a lot pacier than this. And it can be a great, great group game if you have a lot of Warhammer 40,000 fans in the same room. Guarantee you they'll love it. I've never seen anyone dislike this game, let's put it that way. So I look forward to finishing it. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope that was all really clear. And all the very best. I shall, as ever, put my concluding thoughts both on the mission and this game in the next video. Bye now.